All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of good crypto news stuff for you today. And the very first article I have to talk about is dumb hacker group. And I added the dumb in there. Steals documents relating to 9/11 and demands ransom in Bitcoin. The reason why I say dumb, probably for a number of reasons, but shouldn't you ask for Monero? I don't know. So 2018 ended on an eventful note. On the 31st of December, a hacker group announced that they had gotten access to the private files of a law firm handling insurance regards to the 9/11 attacks. They also promised to release the files to the public if their demands were not met. And this is not the first incident regarding the group known as the Dark Overlord. They had previously targeted a number of establishments such as a Netflix studio and a medical center. And according to the group's post on Pastebin, some of the insurers and law firms that they have hacked include Hiscox, Syndicates, Lloyd's of London, and Silverstein Properties. So they're some of the biggest insurers on the planet, insuring everything from the smallest policies to some of the largest policies on the planet, and who even insured structures such as the World Trade Centers. And they have stated that they will provide many answers about 9/11 conspiracies through our 18,000 secret documents leak. The Hiscox group has confirmed that the hack that took place successfully targeted a law firm that advised them, and that documents relating to 9/11 were indeed taken. The law firm's systems are not connected to Hiscox IT infrastructure, and Hiscox's own systems were unaffected by this incident. One of the cases the law firm handled for Hiscox and other insurers related to litigation arising from the events of 9/11. We believe that information relating to this was stolen during the breach. So indeed, it's true that some documents were stolen, and but the validity of the documents and if they actually show anything particularly malicious or whatever is yet to be known, obviously. The group has already published a number of documents, including letters and emails that make mention of a number of law firms, as well as the TSA and Federal Aviation Administration. An official ransom note has been published along with a link to 10 gigabyte of stolen documents. For now, the documents are encrypted, but the hackers have said that they will release the decryption keys periodically unless their ransom is paid. The ransom in question is to be paid in Bitcoin, and there are also other threats to sell information on the dark web. Pay the F up, or we're going to bury you with this. If you continue to fail us, we'll escalate these releases by releasing the keys. Each time a layer is open, a new wave of liability will fall upon you. Who is you? Who knows? The government? I don't know. How much was the ransom? I guess it doesn't really say. I'm sure it's some ridiculous amount. But I find it weird that the hackers would be able to would request Bitcoin at this point in time, when Monero would probably be a better choice, considering there's a lot of documents and at least news and speculation that the NSA and various other governmental intelligence agencies can track Bitcoin public keys to their users, and then putting them on an exchange, but they'll probably route it through Monero and this, that, and the other thing. So who knows how that would work, but interesting. I would have gone with Monero. I'm just saying, guys. Moving on to the next article. HitBTC is slammed by Trace Bayer, John McAfee over account freezes the day before proof of keys. So HitBTC has essentially caused a lot of drama. And if you go to the HitBTC website, the exchange, that is, for anybody that doesn't know, HitBTC is the exchange. It's one of the biggest exchanges, and it's not good. Their Reddit is filled with just non-stop. Of course, Reddits are sort of for complaining. A lot of occasions, at least corporate Reddits like that made their Reddit for their exchange or whatever, or business. And of course, it's filled with complaints because, like, why else would people go on there? But it's just non-stop of people who cannot withdraw, or withdrawals that take 12, 14 days or something like that. So easily one of the worst exchanges at the moment, at least in terms of public sentiment. Trace Bayer, organizer of Proof of Keys, which happens tomorrow, which calls for cryptocurrency owners to remove their holdings from third-party exchanges on January 3rd, condemned HitBTC for the move, reports which began December 31st. Has HitBTC failed proof of keys? Question mark. I do not have an account. Asked a friend to initiate a withdrawal. Beware, he tweeted Tuesday. Result: withdrawals are temporarily disabled on your account. Oh my, how convenient is that on the day before there's supposed to be this big movement of proof of keys to take off your Bitcoin and crypto in general off of exchanges and hold it yourself, which I don't feel is a bad thing. However, there are some interesting things about that. So other figures soon joined him, among them John McAfee, who reiterated his distrust of the exchange, which he warned of earlier this year. Don't sign up, don't use it, withdraw your funds, he wrote. I was trashed for calling out HitBTC as a corrupt company. You had 6 months warning from me to withdraw your funds. Don't ask me to help now. So yeah, just believe it yourselves and go to the HitBTC Reddit, and it's just it's pretty bad. So there's a lot of people that just can't move. And then even before this whole proof of keys things, HitBTC is one of the easily, from what I've seen, one of the slowest withdraw exchanges. I'm sure some people don't have problems with it. I usually actually never had a withdraw exchange problem. I know there's always just a lot of people on exchanges, and they go to the forums or the Reddits or wherever the social media of that exchange, and they're like, hey, it's been 10 days, it's been 30 days, it's been 60 days, I haven't received my my money or my Bitcoin or this, that, or the other thing. And so far, that's never happened to me. Interestingly enough, this just never happened to me. I've never had a problem where I went to withdraw and didn't get my coin. Might have taken a little bit longer than expected sometimes, but never days or anything like that. So interesting. So the proof of key celebration, put simply, a mayor's suggestion for a proof of key celebration. Figured I'll talk about it again just before the day that you're supposed to do it, if you choose to participate in this event, which I certainly have my crypto off exchanges. So we'll have to see if anybody else participates in that. It's intended as an intentional cryptocurrency exchange run. Specifically, mayor is encouraging people to withdraw all their Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies from third-party exchanges on January 3rd. The reasoning behind it is twofold. On the one hand, it's a way for people to prove that their cryptocurrency exists on the blockchain and that the exchanges are actually in possession of all users' deposited cryptocurrencies, which is entirely true. Basically, exchanges, especially with their fees that they gather, as usually the fees are, if you trade Bitcoin to Ethereum, it's a little bit of Bitcoin for the fee. So they basically have all of the crypto. It makes sense. So the exchanges, and the hardware developers are the ones that make out all of the money in the end. And on the other hand, proof of keys is a much philosophical undertaking. Mayer argues that this is a way for people to declare their monetary sovereignty and ensure accountability from third-party platforms. So proof of keys is tomorrow. I encourage you to participate. However, I encourage you, if you have never really taken your coins off an exchange, make sure you have a proper wallet. Make sure you research a little bit. And I'm just throwing that out there for anybody. I'm sure most of you all that watch know how to, pull cryptocurrency off of it and store it safely. But I know that there, of course, statistically, there is always people who can mess anything up in this world. Even the most simple of things, people die in the bathtub every day. The reason why it says on your toaster, do not toast bread in the bathtub, because somebody many years ago thought, hey, you know what's a great way to speed up my morning and just make things so much more convenient. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cook my breakfast while I'm taking a bath. What a genius idea. And too many people did that and then sued them, and probably successfully sued them, because, hey, you didn't write that I couldn't take my toaster oven in the bathtub with me, so I'm a sue you. And the judge is like, you didn't write it. So, of course, some people can mess up anything in this world. So please make sure that you know that you have a proper wallet and properly how to do it. There's just a lot of ways, a lot of videos to look up, just in case you're unsure about any process in it. If you're a day trader, a daily day trader, there's basically no point for you to take it off of an exchange, because you're just going to pay fees to take it off and then pay fees to put it on, essentially. What's interesting about this is that it is a nice philosophical movement, yet at the same time, This almost feels, and it seems like, I doubt it is, but it seems like this is for Bitcoin miners. This is Bitcoin miners day on January 3rd, because the amount of transactions and fees that this is going to cause will go right to the miners. In case you didn't know, the way Bitcoin works is I send you Bitcoin, I send you $100 in Bitcoin. Let's say there's a dollar fee. That dollar fee essentially goes to the next block and goes out. That little bit of Bitcoin goes out to the next block. So instead of, a 12.5 Bitcoin block, with all the fees for that block, it might be like a 13 or greater Bitcoin block that goes out as a reward. And then that way, the fees always go back to the miners and sort of stay within Bitcoin, except for exchanges. I'm sure they charge a little bit as well and just pocket a little bit of that. But who's to blame them? After all, they are a business. Somebody said here on a Twitter tweet. I don't know, whatever. So I don't know who this is. I don't know who Justin Bonds is. This actually looks like a friend of mine who I used to go to high school with. The guy looks almost exactly like him. Like maybe like when he was in ninth grade, looks exactly like him. It's really weird. Anyway, so I have no idea who this person is. I don't know if he's a shill for other currencies. I don't know if he's a shill for Bitcoin. Regardless, what he says is fairly true. If the proof of key day succeeds, we will see a massive spike in the BTC mempool, massively increasing fees with decreased reliability, exposing those flaws to the world again, while other cryptocurrencies will perform flawlessly. So, yeah, that's sort of a negative thing to say, but it's kind of true, because if just so many people participate in this and start moving their Bitcoin all at once, the mempool is going to get massively increased, and people are really going to see long transaction time. So when you go to take it off of an exchange tomorrow, do not be surprised at how long it takes for you to get your Bitcoin into your wallet. And there's going to be a lot of people complaining, hey, like I haven't received my Bitcoin in an hour. I haven't received my Bitcoin in 2 hours. Well, this is probably why. So it does kind of expose the flaw of Bitcoin in that too much usage, really decreases. I'm not so sure about decreased reliability, but it will increase fees to withdraw, and it will give those fees back to miners at the very least. So, not too big of a deal there. So moving on, again, I want to talk about the Craig Wright Satoshi lawsuit again. And the reason for this is because it's coming very soon. I think January 10th is the date that there is a jury trial. So an actual jury trial over this. And so let me read this to you in case anybody is uncertain about all this. Let me just give you a little synopsis. Basically, Dave Kleiman, who is considered a high candidate of being Satoshi Nakamoto, along with a lot of other people, so don't get me wrong there, as well as Craig Wright. Now, I know that Craig Wright is considered fake Toshi, but it's abundantly apparent that Craig Wright indeed had something to do with the creation of Bitcoin, or at least shortly after, or consulting, or knew people that were making Bitcoin at the very least. Is he Satoshi? Don't know about that. And a lot of people don't know about that because he says a lot of false things. However, it's pretty clear that he was friends with a lot of people who were creating Bitcoin, or all of the speculated creators of Bitcoin. That's fairly objectively true, that there was a lot of original emails between these people, and it's supposedly Satoshi's hidden wealth was about 1 million Bitcoin. Some say 1.1. I've heard 900,000 Bitcoin stored in some of the original wallets mined by Satoshi. And coincidentally enough, Dave Kleiman mined, and supposedly Craig Wright mined 1.1 million Bitcoin, which is basically impossible today. Actually, pretty much impossible today, unless you had, who knows, 10 years, 15 years of mining. So this could have only been done when Bitcoin was created. 1.1 million Bitcoin, just not going to happen. I don't care how big your mining operation is. So the 1.1 million Bitcoin lawsuit against Craig Wright in the Southern District of Florida continues. The plaintiff is the estate of Dave Kleiman. It alleges Kleiman and Wright mined 1.1 million Bitcoin together during the early days of Bitcoin. And when Kleiman died, Wright laundered the money into his own accounts and did not give anything to Kleiman's heirs. The lawsuit further alleges that Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto, which has been on and off a heated debate in the crypto space. In the last order, the court dismisses 2 counts against Wright, while Wright must respond to the other 7 counts by January 10th. Count 3, which was dismissed, is an allegation that Wright misappropriated trade secrets belonging to Kleiman related to smart contracts and blockchain technology. Count 4 says the theft of trade secrets violates the Federal Defense of Trade Secrets Act, and this account was also dismissed. The remaining counts, which have not been dismissed, are far more serious. Count 1 demands $11.427 billion, or the return of the Bitcoins and forked assets like Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, etc. Count 2 alleges that the theft of Bitcoin is an unjust enrichment. Count 5 alleges that Wright breached his fiduciary duty to Kleiman. Count 6 alleges that Wright did not pay Kleiman's share. Count 7 alleges that Wright committed fraud while taking Kleiman's assets and intellectual property, including the forging of contracts and signatures. And Count 8 alleges that Wright committed fraud, and so on and so on. When Dave Kleiman died, it was under weird circumstances. He had MRSA and was dying. And when they found him dead, there was a gun, there was bullet holes in his mattress, there was essentially blood, body fluids everywhere. It was a pretty, what I would say would be a grisly death. Was there any foul play? Not sure. But what he did do is give a... he left to his brother, Dave Kleiman, left to his brother a thumb drive that was supposedly encrypted, and Dave Kleiman was quite good at encryption and coding. So likely this thing was encoded, and a lot of people believe that was the 1.1 million Bitcoin. So nobody really knows who has the Bitcoin. Nobody really knows where it is. If apparently, according to the lawsuit, Craig Wright has it. Now, if Craig Wright gets this coin, and does have this coin now, he can't spend any of it. Because if he loses this lawsuit, he won't have any, essentially any settlement. Because even though they're asking for 11 billion, right now 1.1 million Bitcoin is only about 3 or 4 billion. Oh my gosh, the only time I'll ever see that in my life is only about 3 or 4 billion dollars. So it's nowhere near. So he might have to give up some of his other assets like Bitcoin SV and whatnot. But if he doesn't, he might be able to settle with the court and be like, okay, I have your 1.1 million Bitcoin. I'll give it, right? Because I don't want to go to jail. I have to settle. So that would be appropriate, right? Okay, like we'll screw the other billions and we'll just accept your... So, but if he wins the case and keeps the 1.1 million Bitcoin, as the Tulip Trust document shows, which could have been fabricated, he will own 1.1 million Bitcoin, will be able to do whatever he wants with it. And if he does get that Bitcoin, he will end up probably selling the Bitcoin and pumping Bitcoin SV. And that would be extremely, extremely damaging to Bitcoin. Selling 1.1 million Bitcoin on exchanges is... nobody's ever seen anything like that, except for maybe the Mt. Gox. But those were sold in a different way, supposedly. But if these were just put on an exchange, on multiple exchanges, like you could put some on Coinbase, you could put some on Kraken, you could put some on... Bittrex and Binance, and then sell them all at once, and you could certainly crash the price of Bitcoin something pretty fierce. So the most intriguing part of the case is the evidence presented by that Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto in the defendant's amended complaint. Apparently, Wright and Kleiman met in 2003, communicated about various technological topics for years after that. In 2008, they co-authored a paper on the mechanics of overwriting hard drive data. And in 2008, Wright emailed Kleiman and said, I need your help editing a paper I'm going to release this year. I've been working on a new form of electronic money, Bitcash, Bitcoin. You were always there for me, Dave. I want you to be a part of it all. In 2008, Wright sent another email to Kleiman saying, I need your help. You edited my paper, and now I need to have you aid me build this idea. Okay, that's in quotations, so I'll read it that way. So aid me in building this idea. In January 12, 2009, only 9 days after Bitcoin launched on January 3rd, Wright and Kleiman sent each other Bitcoin transactions, making them some of the earliest Bitcoin users. And the lawsuit alleges that Kleiman and Wright mined 1.1 million Bitcoin together, and these are all identifiable and stored in Wright's wallets. Wright indicated that he has this tremendous amount of Bitcoin during a speech in which he said he had more money than the country of Rwanda, where he was speaking. So of course, obviously, according to the article, that it is identifiable and stored in Wright's wallets. But does he have the private keys to those? That's the question. maybe Dave Kleiman has those, and Wright just says that he has them in his wallets. But if Dave Kleiman had the private keys, then proof of keys, that's not your wallet. In May 2016, Wright claimed to be Satoshi in a series of blog posts. The best evidence that Wright is Satoshi was a blog post from early Bitcoin developer Gavin Andresen. In the post, Andresen claims that Wright signed a message with cryptographic keys that only Satoshi could possess. Ultimately, Wright never released these signed messages to the public, leaving the claim in doubt, and Wright is now commonly referred to as Fake Toshi. As this case enters the trial period, it will certainly shed light on the true nature of Craig Wright's early involvement in Bitcoin and whether he really is Satoshi Nakamoto. Like I said, guys, as much as people call him Fake Toshi, there is some weird evidence that he may be Satoshi or that he may be involved with them. It's pretty clear with Dave Kleiman, Wright, Hal Finney, the early Bitcoin users, etc., that Wright was in that circle at the very least. Interesting. Wright has been known to fabricate things, but maybe he fabricated the Bitcoin Tulip Trust as he knew that Dave Kleiman owned the 1.1 million Bitcoin, so he may have fabricated the Bitcoin Tulip Trust document that says, hey, once Dave Kleiman dies, I get those Bitcoin. And those private keys were likely on the thumb drive that supposedly Dave Kleiman gave to his brother before his death or after his death, either way, as if it was willed to him. So the private keys may be on there, but Wright can show which wallets have that 1.1 million Bitcoin in them. So maybe Wright knows the public keys to those specific wallets, which I don't suppose would be particularly hard because I think he did show the public keys of those wallets before, but doesn't have the private keys and needs that from this lawsuit. So anyway, we're moving on to CoinMarketCap here, $133 billion market cap. We are nearly at $4,000 Bitcoin again. An interesting thing is Ethereum overtook XRP once again, but not by much. About 600 million, 700 million or so dollars market cap, which is quite a bit, I suppose. But, in terms of crypto, not really that much, quite only a couple digits there of a difference. So Ethereum took back that number 2 spot, and just an interesting day in the world of crypto. So I'm interested in the Craig Wright case. I'm interested to see what happens tomorrow with the proof of keys, and of course the hacker group and what's going to come of that. I doubt anybody will pay them. And I kind of doubt the validity of the documents that they hold. Not necessarily that they're not real documents, but that they might not really show anything and that they just stole a bunch of documents and then say, hey, you got to pay us now. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Helps me out a lot. Liking the video helps me out a lot. It's free to like. You just press it. It takes a little bit of power, a little bit of, adenosine triphosphate, ATP to move your hand and click it. But I hope you're willing to, to release some of that ATP, because after all, adenosine triphosphate is really just from diphosphate, and all the body has to do is take one phosphate molecule and put it onto the adenosine, and then you have adenosine triphosphate. And then you just use that one molecule and then you put it back again, and that's almost unlimited energy. Guys, biology. I'm not a good biologist, so maybe I got that wrong. Either way, I hope you guys liked the video, and I have links in the description below for my Twitter, my Steam, my Twitch, and everything, so make sure you guys follow me on there too. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and as usual, I will see you guys next time.